spring break. Just saying those two words, it usually triggers a very specific, very divided reaction.
Mm-hmm. It really does.
On one hand, you have the glossy marketing brochures, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pristine white sand beaches, happy kids.
Sipping something out of a coconut.
Exactly. The parents are relaxed. The kids are quietly building sandcastles. It looks like paradise.
It's the Instagram version of parenting. That's what we're sold.
Right. But then you have the reality for a huge chunk of the population. For a lot of parents, spring break doesn't sound like a vacation. It sounds like a countdown.
A countdown to what, though?
A countdown to chaos, to blown sleep schedules, to hemorrhaging money, and to hearing, "I'm bored," about 400 times before noon on Monday.
It is the classic holiday paradox. We're conditioned to think this week should be this highlight of the year, magical family memories.
Right.
But the pressure to actually make it magical often just spiked parental anxiety through the roof.
So that is exactly what we're tackling in today's deep dive. We're looking at how to flip that script. We want to take this week, which so often feels like a survival mission, and turn it into a week of what I like to call sneaky learning.
Sneaky learning. I love that phrase. It's perfect.
A genuine connection, of course.
Of course. And to help us navigate this, we've pulled together 2 really comprehensive guides. We have 10 effective parenting tips for spring break with your kids from Mind Family.
Okay.
And we're pairing that with 25 fun and educational spring break activities for families from the Ashley Academy.
So we have the psychology and the emotional framework from one side,
From Mind Family.
and then the tactical boots-on-the-ground activity list from Ashley Academy.
That's the idea. And the mission here isn't just how to keep the kids busy so they don't destroy the house.
No, let's be honest, that is a valid goal.
Oh, it's a very valid goal. But it's deeper than that. We're looking at addressing the specific root causes of parental stress, safety, budget, the dreaded brain drain, and applying some expert-backed psychology to solve them.
Okay, so let's start with that stress, because I think it helps to just validate what everyone is feeling right now. Why does a holiday, which is theoretically a good thing, cause so much panic?
Well, the Mind Family article actually breaks this down into a sort of taxonomy of worry.
A taxonomy of worry. I like that.
And it's fascinating because these aren't just petty annoyances. They are deep-seated feels. And the first one they highlight is safety and supervision.
Which makes sense. I mean, suddenly the structure of school, which is basically a massive safety net, is just gone.
You've lost your containment field. Exactly.
Right.
If you're at work, who's watching them? And if you are lucky enough to be traveling, you're in an unfamiliar environment.
Right.
The source explicitly mentions the fear of accidents, injuries, and specifically for the parents of tweens and teens, peer pressure.
Ah, the unstructured time issue.
It's the biggest fear for parents of older kids. There is a genuine anxiety that unsupervised time leads to risky behavior.
Like what, specifically?
The articles mention drugs and alcohol, but it's also just, poor decision-making.
Yeah.
Teenagers plus boredom usually equals trouble. It's that whole idle hands concept.
Which is heavy stuff for a vacation.
Yeah.
But it's not just physical safety, is it? There's a financial component that the sources heavily emphasize.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, this is the one I hear about the most from my friends.
It's huge. The pressure to fund these Instagram-worthy trips can lead to serious debt. It's that feeling of, if we aren't at Disney or on a beach in Mexico, are we failing our kids?
And that anxiety just hangs over the whole week. So even if you go, you're stressed about the credit card bill the entire time.
The whole time. And then interestingly, there's the academic anxiety.
Okay, I have to play devil's advocate here.
No.
Do parents really worry that their kids are going to get dumber in 1 week? It feels like a stretch.
Dumber might be harsh, but the anxiety is real. It's about disruption. Mind Family calls it the fear of academic impact. It's not that they forget how to read. It's that they lose momentum. If a child is struggling with math, a week of zero math feels like you're sliding backward.
Or, I guess, procrastination on big assignments that are due right after the break.
Exactly. It's the Sunday scaries, but stretched out over 10 days. It's that re-entry shock they're afraid of.
Okay, that makes sense. I noticed they also mentioned connectivity issues, which feels very modern.
Yes. That anxiety of, what if we go somewhere remote and I can't reach my child? Or what if work can't reach me? It's a communication work-down fear.
We're so used to being tethered.
So used to it that severing that connection feels dangerous.
Okay, so we have safety, money, brain drain, and losing contact. That is a heavy backpack to carry into a holiday.
It is, but here's the reframe, and this is what the experts in the source material suggest. These worries are valid. I mean, they come from love.
Of course.
But if we stay stuck in risk management mode, we miss the point. The goal is to shift from managing risk to embracing opportunity.
Okay, let's unpack that. How do we make that shift? I want to start with the physical aspect, just getting them out of the house. Because when they're climbing the walls inside, that's when the stress peaks.
Strategy number 1, the great outdoors. And this isn't just about burning off energy so they sleep better.
Well, that's a major perk.
A huge perk. But there's actual biology at play here. Mind Family cites a clinical psychologist, Dr. Rachel Goldman. She points out that spending time outdoors directly boosts serotonin levels.
The happy chemical.
The happy chemical. It combats stress and improves mood for the whole family, not just the kids.
That's a great point. So when you're feeling that parental burnout, the answer might literally be to just step outside.
Yes. Indoor air and artificial light actually contribute to that lethargic, cranky feeling.
But we need more than just go outside. If I tell my kids to go outside, they just stare at me like I just spoke Latin. We need tactics.
Totally.
I really liked the green fix idea mentioned in the text.
Yes, the green fix. This covers things like hiking, bike riding, or visiting a botanical garden. But here's where the sneaky learning comes in.
Right.
The Ashley Academy suggests using that garden visit to learn about sustainable farming. So you're outside, breathing fresh air, but you're also slipping in a lesson about where food comes from, how plants grow.
Why we do bees.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
All of it. And speaking of physical play, we have to talk about water.
Oh, water is the ultimate cheat code for parenting.
It really is, and there's a developmental psychologist, Dr. Lean Birch, who backs this up. She highlights that water activities, whether it's swimming or just building sandcastles, are crucial for sensory exploration.
And motor skills, right.
And motor skill development, yeah.
So building a sandcastle isn't just wasting time, because sometimes it feels like you're just moving dirt around.
Not at all. I mean, think about the physics involved. You learn about displacement, you learn about structural integrity.
Why wet sand holds its shape and dry sand doesn't.
Exactly. It's engineering and fine motor skills. It's tactile learning.
Okay, I'll buy that. Now, if you want to get a little more adventurous, maybe for older kids who think sandcastles are baby stuff, Ashley Academy suggests geocaching. Is that still a thing?
It is very much a thing, and it's perfect for this generation. It's basically a global treasure hunt using satellites.
Okay, explain how it works for people who haven't done it.
So you download an app. It uses your phone's GPS to show you hidden containers, they call them caches, that people have hidden all over the world.
Probably in your own neighborhood even.
Oh, definitely. You follow the little blue dot on the map, and then you have to physically search under logs, behind park benches, inside hollow trees.
So the source frames this as a lesson in navigation and map reading.
It's a real-world skill, but it's disguised as a video game.
That is a perfect example of sneaky learning. You're hiking, you're navigating, you're problem solving.
But to them, they're just finding treasure.
Exactly. And the sources had a few other outdoor ideas that felt really accessible. Stargazing was a big one. Oh, I love that concept. But in practice, I can never find anything other than the Big Dipper. I just point up and say, look, stars. My kids go, okay, can we go inside now?
That's where technology comes in again. The sources suggest using those augmented reality apps. You hold your phone up to the sky and it connects the dots for you.
Oh, right. It'll show you the constellations.
It identifies constellations, planets, satellites. It's a direct connection to STEM astronomy, physics, navigation.
Or if you want to stay grounded and maybe not stare at a screen, what about the nature scavenger hunt?
This is great for younger kids. You just create a checklist. Specific birds, insects, leaf types.
It turns an aimless walk in the park into a data collection mission.
Yes. You aren't just walking, you are hunting for a red cardinal or an oak leaf.
And for the DIY crowd, the parents who want to build something.
Backyard science. Building a birdhouse or a butterfly garden, you're teaching them about habitats, ecosystems, conservation.
But they just think they're building something cool for the yard. It gives them ownership of the space. Okay, so that handles the get them outside part. That creates the serotonin. But let's go back to that fear of the brain drain, the academic anxiety. How do we keep the momentum going without handing them a worksheet?
Oh, God, no.
Because if I hand my kid a math worksheet on vacation, there will be a mutiny.
This is where we enter strategy number 2. Sneaky learning, specifically in STEM and creativity. And the best place to start, according to the sources, is actually the kitchen.
The kitchen classroom. Now, I have to warn you, the mess potential here is high. Let's bake. Usually ends with flour on the ceiling.
The mess is real, but so is the payoff. Mind Family brings in Chef Jamie Oliver here. He emphasizes that cooking boosts confidence and expands the palate.
Right, getting them to eat something other than chicken nuggets because they made it themselves.
But Ashley Academy takes it a step further academically. They point out that cooking is basically a lab for fractions and chemistry.
That's so true. Measuring ingredients is pure math. I need 3/4 of a cup, but I only have a 1/4 cup measure.
Exactly. That's problem solving. And then you have the chemistry. Baking soda reacting with vinegar to make a volcano cake, or watching how proteins change when you cook an egg.
You're experimenting with recipes.
It's hands-on learning that results in a snack. It's a win-win, even if you have to wipe down the counter afterward.
And it's not just science, right? The sources talk about the arts, too, which I think often gets overlooked in the push for STEM.
Right. Mind Family references Dr. Angela Matke from the Mayo Clinic. She notes that arts and crafts are vital for fine motor skills and cognitive development.
But again, we want to move beyond just, here's some crayons and paper.
Right.
So what are the level-up activities here? How do we make it engaging for a 10-year-old who thinks they're too cool for coloring books?
Ashley Academy has some great ones. They suggest a DIY science lab. This could be making slime, which is all about mixing polymers.
Slime is always a hit, even if parents hate it.
The mess is part of the sensory learning. But they also suggest building a homemade weather station to track barometric pressure, or even coding a simple game.
Okay, but if you want to keep the house clean,
If you want to keep it clean, they suggest sidewalk chalk math.
how does that work?
You play hopscotch, but you have to solve a math problem to jump to the next square.
Oh, that's smart.
You're combining physical exertion with mental calculation. It's surprisingly difficult to do mental math while you're jumping around. It forces the brain to switch gears rapidly.
That is brilliant. It wears them out physically and mentally.
And for a more historical perspective, they suggest creating a time capsule,
Ooh.
gathering letters, drawings, headlines, small objects that represent this exact moment.
That's actually really sweet. It teaches them to think about history as something they're living through, not just something in a textbook.
It does. And finally, for the creative writers or the drama kids, they suggest writing and performing a play. It encourages storytelling, acting, public speaking,
All in the living room.
all in the living room.
Okay, so we've got the brain working, we've got the body moving, but let's circle back to one of the biggest stressors we talked about at the top, money. And also that feeling of disconnection. How do we bond without spending a fortune?
This is strategy 3, emotional connection and budget-friendly bonding. We need to transition from doing to feeling.
Right.
And we can address that financial worry by leaning into low-cost connection methods that don't require a plane ticket.
The Mind Family source had a great take on movie night, because usually movie night is just zoning out. I'm guilty of this. I put the movie on and then I scroll Instagram.
Exactly. It's usually passive parallel play. But Dr. Vanessa Lapointe argues that movie night shouldn't just be about staring at a screen, it's an opportunity.
The real value comes after the credits roll,
That's it. You discuss it. You turn into film critics.
but like focused on empathy, right? Not just whether the special effects were good.
Exactly. You ask questions like, why did the character do that? How would you have handled that situation? Was that the right choice?
I like that. It turns passive consumption into active empathy. You're analyzing social situations in a safe environment.
Precisely. That discussion strengthens emotional bonds. Now, what about the staycation? Because travel is expensive and sometimes you just can't make it happen.
But staring at your own four walls feels depressing.
Right. So travel expert Samantha Brown suggests acting as tourists in your own city.
I feel like we never do this. We live in a place, we drive past the landmarks every day, but we never stop.
We treat our hometown like a hallway to get to work.
Yeah.
Her advice is to deepen your sense of belonging without the travel stress or the airport price gouging. And Ashley Academy adds to this by suggesting you visit local businesses or factories.
Like a field trip.
Yes, go to a local bakery and ask to see how the bread is made on a large scale. Or a local manufacturing plant. It shows kids skills in the real world.
It connects the community to the economy for them. It turns the city into a classroom.
That's it. And speaking of community, both sources touch on volunteering.
Right, Dr. Marilyn Price Mitchell highlights that volunteering teaches compassion, an animal shelter, a park cleanup.
It fosters empathy, and it's free. In fact, it's better than free. It's giving back.
Yeah.
And Ashley Academy had a really interesting suggestion for what they call intergenerational bonding.
Yes, interviewing a grandparent.
Yeah.
I loved this idea because I wish I had done this more when I was a kid.
It's so simple but so powerful. Have the child ask about family history, traditions, What was it like when you were my age? It's oral history.
It teaches the child that their family is part of a larger story. It gives them roots.
And on the flip side of roots, they also suggest a cultural night,
Yeah.
right?
If you can't afford a ticket to Italy, bring Italy to your dining room.
Pick a country, cook the food together, learn the music, maybe learn a few words of the language using an app.
That's a whole evening of entertainment and education for the cost of pasta and sauce.
Exactly. It expands their worldview from the dining room table.
Okay, we have covered a lot,
Yeah.
but I want to talk about the aha moments, the critical thinking. We touched on this with the science stuff, but how do we really sharpen that saw?
This is strategy 4, developing critical thinking. Dr. Catherine Nelson Coffey, an educational psychologist, emphasizes field trips. But she means targeted ones, museums, zoos, science centers.
But not just walking through them and looking at the pretty displays, right?
Yeah.
Because I've dragged my kids to museums and they just run through looking for the snack bar.
The gift shop gravitation. No, it's about the hands-on experience that deepens understanding. You want to engage with the exhibits, ask the why and how questions.
Why do you think this dinosaur had these plates on its back? Make them hypothesize.
Yes, but you can do this at home too. Dr. Stuart Brown talks about scavenger hunts again here, but in a broader sense.
We mentioned the nature one, but this can be anything.
Anything. It stimulates curiosity and problem solving. You have to figure out the clue to find the object. It requires logic.
And if you're stuck indoors, maybe the weather is bad.
Ashley Academy suggests virtual museum tours.
I always forget that those exist. I remember they were huge in 2020.
They are still around, and many of the world's best museums are free online. You can walk through the Louvre from your sofa.
Or a family book club.
Or a family book club. Read the same book and discuss the themes. It's the same principle as the movie night, but with literacy attached.
So what does this all mean? We started with anxiety, fear of safety, money, and brain drain.
And we've replaced that anxiety with a toolkit. We've seen that outdoor play regulates our biology. We've seen that cooking and crafts are secret STEM lessons.
And we've seen that you don't need a plane ticket to explore the world or your own community.
Exactly.
Sounds like the key word here is balance.
It is. The Mind Family article explicitly states this. The parenting tips are rooted in balancing structured activities with free time. You want to mix that outdoor adventure with the sneaky education and the emotional bonding.
And I think it's important to mention, because the expert in the text did, that sometimes doing nothing is okay too, or sending them away.
Absolutely. They cited the American Camp Association about camps. They foster independence and resilience. And the Mind Family intro reminds us that parental worry comes from love, but the break is a chance to foster independence. Sometimes that means letting them build that fort in the backyard without you hovering.
So we're not striving for perfection, we're striving for connection.
Correct. We are moving from surviving the week to actually using it.
I want to leave our listeners with one specific idea from the Ashley Academy source that I think ties this all together perfectly. The Family Vision Board.
Oh, this is a great concept.
Instead of just getting through the week, they suggest using this time to set learning and travel goals for the entire rest of the year.
It transforms spring break from a standalone event into a launch pad for the family's future. It turns the question, what do you want to do, into who do we want to be this year?
Exactly. So here is a question for you to mull over as you plan your week. If you froze this spring break in a time capsule, another great idea from the sources, by the way, what would you want it to say about your family's curiosity?
That's a powerful question. Would it say you were stressed and checking emails? Or would it say you were exploring, tasting, building, and asking questions together?
Something to think about while you're mixing that slime or hiking that trail. Thanks for diving in with us.
Always a pleasure.
Now go out there and master the break. We'll see you next time.